But this is for your, so yeah, like I said, you can install pfSense. pfSense is awesome. I mean, you can do that in your home network. It's a software-based firewall. You can create IDS, IPSs, everything is in there. So it's awesome. So you just learn. I mean, like I said, it's just a learning process. You have to be curious, and as you follow along, you may want to learn something. There's a pfSense training itself on YouTube. Just not my training, but a lot of people train about pfSense. But if you're interested in firewall, you cannot buy a Cisco Fire ASA. It's expensive. This is the easiest way to learn the firewall things, how to create a outboard filtering, inbound filtering, how to create an IDS. You can also install Snort or Splunk within this pfSense. There's plugins for that. So it's pretty amazing. Let me see if we can find the pfSense training, because pfSense is something you need to know how filtering works. So pfSense is something you can get started with.
And can you also recommend the UDMY course for the hacking?
Udemy?
Yeah,
Udemy.
so in Udemy there is a good hacking course.
Oh, Udemy, okay, I'll definitely.
So the websites you're talking about, do you have the slides or email just?
I can, yes, I will update the slides and send. Yeah, definitely. I will send this email to Dave, or I'll put that link and the Udemy site link too for the course recommendations. And I'll put this pfSense training to there.
Wish we had a bigger screen. We can see from the.
Like I said, these links, Yeah, I mean, don't worry about this. I'll send you the slide deck. Actually, I'm not talking anything from the slides, but I will update the links and send it to you so you can have the links as a reference. So this my site is one thing, but like I said, you can learn about pfSense and setting up a lab is critical. Like I said, this is just setting up a lab. Once you set up the lab, you can install software in the systems and play with it. The cool thing with Hyper-V or any virtualization is you can create a snapshot, you can revert it, you can go back, or you can clone it and keep it. And this site which I showed you, my site, it will show you how to create a thing too. You can do the same thing with VMware or VirtualBox. But I chose this Hyper-V because it's free. If you have Windows 10, you already have it.
Okay.
That's yes, sir.
Does it matter in this lab whether or not your host is Windows 10 Home or Windows 10 Professional?
This is just, like I said, I'm just kicking this training off, and Dr. Pierre, he's going to come and do the Metasploit training. I thought he has his own lab or something. I don't know how he's going to train. I'm not doing any hands-on training today. He's going to continue another hour or so, and then he's going to show you how to set up the lab. I don't know do you know what he's using? No? Okay. He may use VirtualBox, or he may have a lab which you can connect to, I'm not sure. But initially I was planning to do a lot of training, but Dave and I discussed, and I think he's going to continue going forward. He's going to teach you Metasploit, which is on thing. Yeah, I'll put this link, so don't worry about looking from this. So all you have to know is, you need to know something about firewall, and pfSense is a good place to start. And you need to set up a lab. You can either follow my thing, or you can go online and search for pen test labs. There's also a couple of books. Just go to Amazon, search for pen test books. You'll find a lot of things. Maybe start small, and then, in fact, you don't even have to create the Active Directory. Just have a couple of servers, one workstation, then start scanning and things like that, right? Based on what Dr. P is going to teach you, right? So let's look at what we have on the slides. I'm sure you can all see this, right? Okay, so this is a little bit about me, and I do a lot of different things. These days I'm focusing more on network. I used to be into software a lot, but again, software is hard to keep up with because every day there's a new programming language coming up. I used to do a lot of code reviews too, secure code reviews. Unless you're really passionate about looking at code all day long, it's not something I want to do. So, so that's why I'm more on to network security and more on the architecture side, working with companies to see how to make everything secure as a whole, rather than doing lots of hands-on testing. I still do lots of hands-on testing, but I try to focus on the architecture level, working with companies to say what you can do to limit the risks and things like that. So that's my job.
IoT? In the IoT
I'm not into IoT space, but there is a good area to get into if you want to start out, because IoT is where there's a lot of learning things. You need to know a little bit about hardware too, right? I mean, you need to know like if you want to start Arduino or a Raspberry Pi, something you may want to buy. It's like $50, but you need to know a lot about hardware, a little bit of hardware. But again, once you get into that, you will eventually have some kind of web application on this Raspberry Pi, right? Because everything, all these end devices, IoT devices, is going to send the data to a centralized server. So when you're testing that, you're looking at encryption. How is transmitting the data? Is it any sensitive? So you're going to look into those things. And once it goes to web applications, you'll also be testing the web application for security issues. So you again, everything you learned in the previous applies. So it's not like IoT is separate. It's same thing. I mean, it's the same as network security. You have to look at the communication protocols. Are they using secure protocols? And how many of you can name like an insecure protocol? I mean, what's what's a protocol?
Like TLS 1.0.
Okay.
That's
So
it.
what is a secure protocol? What is an insecure protocol? Can anyone tell me?
Secure means like HTTPS,
Okay.
which encrypts the packet.
Okay.
It's in it. HTTP, which is a clear text.
Okay. What do you mean clear text? I mean, what happens? How do you get the? How do you see the clear text?
So when you try to do a capture using like Wireshark or everything, like Telnet or FTP, you can see the password transmitted.
In where? I mean, like I said, I mean that's a good thing.
Network in clear text.
Okay. So what he's saying is FTP, Telnet, HTTP. It's all clear text. So what does it mean, clear text, right? So you have to be man in the middle. So let's say you're a client, you're here. Let's say you're going to Facebook, which is somewhere in the world, or some other FTP site is somewhere in the world. When you connect from here to that server, does it connect directly? How does it connect to that server?
It goes through multiple hops in between.
Multiple hops. How do you connect? How are these computers connected to each other?
TCP/IP.
No, it is connected. Yeah, TCP/IP is the protocol, but I mean it's connected using something called routers.
Right.
Routers, right? I mean switches, routers. It goes through multiples, hundreds of routers, and it goes through multiple hops. Anyone in the path of your flow can sniff the data using Wireshark, like you said, or many other tools, and you can capture the password if you're using clear text, like HTTP or FTP or Telnet, or easier. Let's say you're on a Starbucks Wi-Fi network, okay, or airport Wi-Fi network, and if you're going to an HTTP site or FTP site, anyone who are connected to the local Wi-Fi network can see your password. Let me put it a simple way. Because if you're connected in a hardwired in a wire, it's hard because you have to be in the path of the router, which only like system admins and stuff that can see the data. But everywhere it is logged. So anyone who has access to one of the routers along the path can find the password if they want to.
But if there's a wireless link, you can pick it right out of the
Exactly,
air.
because it's in the air.
Right.
And if I'm on a wireless network, I mean, I can sniff and I can find all your passwords. I mean, if I'm kind of, for example, since I know the password for this network, everyone connected to this network at risk because I'm there, right? If I bring my wireless gear, I can sniff everything. And if you're going to any non-encrypted traffic, I can find what you're doing.
But how you can sniff, when I'm going to www.google.com, like.
If it is not encrypted, I can see the data. Because you sniff because Wi-Fi is just signals, right?
Right.
Everyone can see a signal. It's a difference between encrypted versus not encrypted. Your package will be encrypted because you're using a password, but since I know the password, I can also decrypt it. So I will capture all the packets, which is encrypted in the beginning, but since I know the password of the same Wi-Fi network, I can decrypt it. And anything that was clear text, I can see it. If it's encrypted, like HTTPS site, I won't see it. It's just garbage for me.
Okay.
But anything clear text, I can see. So that is why you need to make sure it is all HTTPS or SSH or something like that. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, same point, right? I mean, I told you at the beginning, certificates. If you get the prompt when you go to a coffee shop, when you see a page,
Yeah.
when you see a prompt like saying, hey, this certificate does not look right. Let's see, I don't know, can you guys tell me some site where it's not?
A lot of times it'll be 1.1.1.1.
Go to Facebook.com.
No, Facebook will be okay.
No, I'm meeting that page.
Right now?
Yeah. Twitter.com, Facebook.com.
If you're getting that means then there is an issue with our Wi-Fi.
Maybe.
Okay, let's, I mean, you can, so say if in my thing you can see not secure, right?
No, it's a blocked, I think, yeah, local.
Maybe network block.
So these guys may be doing some kind of proxy layer,
Right,
right?
right.
So if you think proxy, what does proxy mean?
So what is proxy does it, instead of you making.
Why do companies do that? I mean, let's say you are in a company, right? Let's say everything is encrypted, right? So let's say you're going to a HTTP site. The company or no one can see what's happening because it's what?
Right.
What's happening? Why can't they see the data? The company.
It's encrypted.
Encrypted. So encrypted means no one can see it. So what the company does is they put a proxy in between your machine and their machine. And they want you to accept their SSL certificate before you proceed so they can decrypt and see what you're doing. They don't want you to do anything bad. They want to sniff the traffic and find out. That's for multiple reasons. For compliance reasons, they don't want you to be doing like smuggling or doing bad work or going to bad websites. So they need to know. So if there's something happens, they want to go back and look at the logs and say, hey, this guy went to this site and he should be fired or
So
something.
that's why proxies are protecting the company from inside threats.
Exactly.
But proxies can also protect the users from outside threats.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, so the proxy, big companies do that. Small companies, they don't care. They don't know proxies, but they call intermediary proxies. So that is something they need to decrypt the traffic before you go to the actual site. So that's why even this one you're seeing, because they may be doing a proxy in this wireless network.
Proxy or is it firewall?
No, it's a proxy. Firewalls can block. I mean, firewalls also can be proxy. These days they're all built together, right? It depends on which tool you use. So proxies are like Blue Coat. I mean, there's a proxy for Blue Coat. I mean, there's a proxy. There's different companies that do that.
So if they do the proxy, then from my office, if I log in on my personal email account,
Yeah.
they know my user ID and password, right?
They may, yes, they could. They won't typically do it, but their goal is to just make sure that you don't go to bad websites. They'll have some whitelisted sites or blacklisted sites. If you go to those sites, they'll catch you.
So then that's illegal, right? I mean, if they're logging
No,
my
if you're using
personal-
company resources, it's not illegal anymore. If you are using a company laptop to do some stuff, you're not supposed to go to personal anyways. The company have been lenient these days. They don't care if you go to Facebook or something, but you're not supposed to use a company laptop for any personal work.
Oh.
Well, in fact, I know a mortgage company that does not allow their employees to connect their own devices. So they've nixed BYOD,
Uh-huh.
just can't do it.
Yeah.
But to make sure that their employees have a tool, they issue the laptop.
Uh-huh.
All right, but it's very securely protected, and when the employee leaves, they can grab the laptop back before if they're using their personal laptop, the company can't do that. But the odds of having proprietary files on the personal laptop are pretty great.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
that's why they don't allow it, and so they just issue laptops to everybody, and that way they can grab it back, and odds are they're fairly safe. That doesn't protect them against perhaps having the data exfiltrated from the laptop to some other device while the employee is in possession of it.
Exactly, yeah, people do that. I mean, like I said, a lot of companies don't even, they let you use your personal device, but they won't let you connect with the company network. They'll have a own Wi-Fi network, so you cannot connect with the network. But yeah, ideally, if you're not supposed to go to Facebook or something, no company is going to come after you, but some companies are very strict about that. It depends on where you work. I don't know about Raytheon. I mean, are you allowed to go to Facebook and stuff?
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah, but usually they say,
Don't try not to go or something, yeah.
Don't use, it's unless like maybe 10-15 minutes, that's fine, but if you spend a lot of time, they are going to,
But they monitor it. See, some companies they log it, but they don't actively monitor it. So they allow the logs. So let's say a review time comes, they want to fire you, they'll use it as a case saying, hey, you spent like 30% of the time on Facebook. They will use it against you. But if you go to the company, they're not going to come after you. So it's up to you. Yeah. Frankly,
As long as you're getting your job done, they're okay.
yeah, exactly. I work from home all the time, so I have like 6 computers next to me. So I use different networks for different things. So they can't track me. But yeah, use your own due diligence. As long as you do your work, I think you should be okay.
How secure is our mobile Wi-Fi data?
That is very secure. That is as secure you can get. 4G network is very secure. It's not easy to hack unless the hackers can take over a cell tower. Your communication is very safe.
Okay.
Is
Right.
4G encrypted?
By protocol itself, yes, it is. I mean, it's hard to get into, right? I mean, there's no way you can tap into the signal unless you are in the you take control of the tower or something. Or I don't know how many watch TV shows. Have you anyone watched? Do you watch TV shows? Mr. Robo, NAS. Everyone watches Mr. Robot. I mean, that's a good show. They tell about how you can have something called local cell tower with intercept, which is not easy to pull through, but you jam the actual cell tower and you make the signal go from to your cell tower, which is like a
So you
portable.
spoof the tower.
Exactly.
Right.
And you jam the actual tower, but I mean, you can do it like a few $100s. It's not expensive these days. It used to be an expensive thing, but you can do, they call it like femto cells or something like that. You can create your own tower, which is a small tower, make sure the calls go to your network and they can get what you're talking and stuff.
If you do that in Washington DC, you're liable to catch some very interesting political discussions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure those are encrypted, right? I mean, those calls
Right.
are highly encrypted.
Well, where you have people like Joe Biden using the password,
Yeah, they got hacked.
there's likely to be some conversations that
Exactly.
you catch that they're just not paying attention.
Exactly.
What
Like-
show is that, Doctor?
Basement
Mr.
servers,
Robot, R-O-B-O-T, robot or Robo.
It's a
Can we get
Netflix.
back to the
actually.
It's on
certificate
Netflix,
you
yeah.
mentioned about, so there is a website and then you're trying to get a certificate, is that what you mentioned?
Yeah, if you get a certificate prompt saying like what we saw right now, this is bad, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't, if you're in a public location, if you're going to go to Facebook, do not go say advanced and say, for example, if you go to advanced, you're accepting the certificate. Can you see it from the back?
No.
Sure, I mean, bigger fonts maybe?
Control plus.
It's not making anything big. Anyway, but like I said, if you see something like your connection is not private, you can see that, right? Do not proceed to any sites if you're in a public location, right? It's a risk. I mean, you never. It may be nothing, but it's better to be trained like that. So do not go like any site because people can be doing man-in-the-middle attack. If you accept, there will normally be a tab saying, "Do you want to accept the certificate?" If you click yes, what that does is it puts the certificate on your browser.
Okay.
And anytime you go to any site that there is a trusted certificate, and people with that thing can decrypt your package.
So can you help me understand the mechanism of how the certificate, so I'm like, let me say example.
Sure.
I'm in Facebook and my browser is trying to get a certificate or some information from the Facebook. That's what-
Yes. So Facebook, for example, the browser is negotiating the certificates, right? The browser itself
Okay.
will have something called public certificate. And the Facebook site or any site, they'll have private certificate. So when the browser goes to as a public certificate, so let me see if I can show you that. Sometimes it's hard to find, but sometimes it's easy. So certain certificates are trusted by this. If you buy a certificate from VeriSign, GoDaddy, or major sites, right? You can purchase a web certificate.
Who will buy
The company, the website owners,
Okay.
to install, right? So where Facebook bought one, or GoDaddy, Microsoft. If you go to the site, they buy the certificates from third-party vendor. You have to buy a certificate. So if you buy from a third-party certificate, those are called trusted certificates.
Okay.
But you can also, using even Kali Linux or Windows, you can create like Active Directory. If you go to like a thing, you can create your own certificate. Those are called self-signed certificate
Okay.
that you use for development purposes, right? So the good thing with the trusted certificates, everyone trusts because you validated your domain with a third party, and that's a certificate that you trust. And all the certificates, if you buy from VeriSign, it's already installed in your browser. It keeps updating all the time. Let me see if I can find that certificate list.
Didn't VeriSign get hacked about 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, all companies, if they want to get hacked, they will get hacked.
Right,
Right? It's a matter of time.
right. So they call them a third-party trusted certificate, but can you really?
They hacked on what? Like they hacked their certificates, or they hacked?
Well, they got possession of some of the certificates. So
Exactly.
that, for
So-
example, they could pretend to be Google
So
or
I
a
told you,
bank.
if you get access to the private key of that certificate authority, which is like VeriSign or something like you said, you can create a certificate and distribute anyone you want because the private key is very, very sensitive. So you don't want
I've
to.
seen it, verified by VeriSign at the bottom.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
let's see.
So is this, has anything to do with this HTTP colon or HTTPS colon?
Exactly. HTTPS is what where you want to be for any site. If you HTTP, do not give any of your login name and password because it can be breached, right?
So once you accept that certificate, can you clear the thing and then get a fresh certificate? But in case if you know, by mistake you did accept and stuff?
Yes, you can go, like I'm showing, right, this is on Chrome. Even on IE or Firefox, you can go, you can find, so these are all the certificates that are already installed on my browser by default. When you install the browser, it has, you won't even realize a lot of these sites, DigiCert, I mean global site, all these things could be internal from a company or it can be from vendors. These are certificates that are trusted by a browser, right? These can be your system trusting too, so those are installed somehow. But self-signed certificates won't be here. That's why you get the prompt saying, hey, this is not something I know. You want to add this to this list. If you say yes, that certificate is all added to this list. So anytime anyone uses the certificate, you won't get the prompt again. But which is a bad thing to do. You don't want to do that. So
You can go delete here and then try again?
yes, you can delete it here. You can, but trust me, even I don't know how to go delete it. It's hard. There's tons, like thousands of certificates that are trusted.
You have to be pretty much an advanced user. To know how to-
Exactly. You may want to uninstall and reinstall to get the defaults. But there are a lot of certificate authorities like VeriSign is GoDaddy is one example. But there's even free one. You can create that is a valid one, but it's free. So you can create a certificate like that.
So how is nowadays even the forensic, computer forensic, even
That is a good area too if you're interested in that. Let's, I think I have a slide. Let's go to the career choices. Okay, so this is what the careers, right? So there's, can you see it?
Should be careers in security?
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to do, right? You guys here for a reason, right? You want to learn, do something in security. So if you think about web application testing is the only thing you're wrong, right? And there's tons of things. So you can do vulnerability assessments, which is closely related with like network pen testing assessments, right? Application pen testing is what Satish was teaching last week, a few weeks. Again, that is only for web. You can do for binaries like pen testing on that. Like when you install a software on a computer, you can test that. People do that. C++ program, which is like a hardcore binary. You can see whether it can be reverse engineered. You can do code reviews on that. There's a lot of things you can do with not just web application, right? Digital forensics is what you asked. That is what something where you can see what is in the mission. I mean, when someone commits a crime, there are tools out there, but there's also process what you do for digital forensics. Reverse engineering, that is what it is. I mean, you can get a binary, you can reverse engineer that product and see are there clear text passwords, hard-coded text in that binary or not. You can understand the logic with reverse engineering. If you want to go into like AV industry, like get a job with like McAfee or Cylance, you need to know a lot of reverse engineering and malware analysis. That's when you get a job at as a AV company.
Doesn't it help to be a developer for those?
If you're a developer, you're a step ahead of many people.
Right.
Because in fact, if you know C++, I mean, you're in good shape. Assembly is where you need to be, but again, you don't have to be an expert in assembly. You can slowly learn. But if you're not very technical, I would say PCI HIPAA compliance. That's still security, but it's more it's more compliance. It's easy to pick it up. It's not hard. It's just few basics about firewall, what is the port filtering, and you need to know about the compliance. What is HIPAA look after, like personal details and things like that. So if you're not technical, I would recommend either a security auditor or a PCI HIPAA compliance. For technical people, I mean, if you're fascinated about how malware works, malware analysis is something you can do. I mean, but you need to know coding, low-level coding, C++. Not high level, but if you're high level, web application testing is, I mean, there's a lot of jobs out there. Web application is the easiest area to get into because everyone creates like tons of web applications every day and they want people to test it. And the cool thing about web applications is once you know web application pen testing, mobile pen testing is also the same. What does mobile applications do? See, unless it's a game programming, everything is a web service call. There is a server-side program. Mobile application is just the client side. It calls the API calls. So again, you're testing for the communication. How is the authentication done to the site? I mean, how is the password communication? I mean, are they using proper certificates? The same testing can be used for mobile and for web application. Unless it's a game programming, nothing is like just installed on the phone, right? I mean, again, game programming testing is another ball game. But again, if you just learn web application pen testing, you can do mobile and you can do web application pen testing. IDS, firewall, IPS, that's a whole area. I mean, you can be that's also not very hard. You can do some training and you can learn like firewall technologies. CCNA is one certification you may want to do. Security code reviews, if you're a coder, you can do that. And someone asked about IoT embedded security, that is picking up right now. In the next few years, you'll have a lot of jobs in that. And not many people there. So if you're interested, go for it. I mean, and learn about hardware. And because if you know a little bit of security, if you know about hardware, you'll be invaluable to the company. You can do a lot of things. You can also create solutions based on that. Social engineering is also a separate track. I mean, you can create phishing. I mean, we do that too. I mean, when some companies will call us to say, hey, can you do phishing and social engineering attack against us? So we'll create like a spoofed site which looks like their site. We'll send emails to the employees and we'll give them statistics saying, hey, how many people clicked the link? How many people typed in the login and password? But again, that becomes part of a lot of this pen test. But it depends. I mean, but you cannot just specialize in that. But it's a career if you want. If you're good at it, I mean, you can just do that. I mean, that involves even physical social engineering. You go to inside a company, can you just walk behind someone, get into a data center or something? You can tell them, hey, people are not learning. You should be aware. Things like that. People do a lot of social engineering just by themselves.
I'm sorry if this is a repeat question, but did you say you're going to make these slides available?
Yes, I can send it to you. I mean, it's nothing.
What is the security tool writers?
If you're a writer, if you want to write tools, like Burp Suite. I remember that guy writing this tool like when, I don't know, it's 7-8 years back. I remember when he actually started, the tool was nothing. It was just a basic Java based tool. He just started that and it became so popular. And now he's like a multi-billionaire guy because a lot of companies use just the tool. So if you're good in writing tools, if you know Python or any other tool, you can write tools which will which analyze something. It's not hard because there's a lot of open source. You can take an open source project, you can put some twists and turns to that, you can release another product if you want.
So if I pick which, any of this career, through which one I can retire early?
Anything.
As a security tool writer.
Yeah, security tool or 0-day writers, right? I mean, you can make millions of dollars. Like I said, if you find like a bug bounty hunters, let's say you find an important issue in like Apple iPhone. Apple will pay like $100,000, $200,000 just for one issue. If it's that worthy of a thing. A lot of people make money like that. People make even $500,000 for one issue if they can tell their company, Microsoft for example, if they find out, those details don't come outside. It is an internal thing. So if you find something, I don't know if one guy, who was the guy who stopped that, was it WannaCry who stopped, he got arrested.
Yes.
He got arrested also. Yeah, he got arrested for something else which he did before, right? He became a super, like a hero in one day, and I'm pretty sure he might have got offers very next day because of that. So if you do something fancy like that, you can retire early. You'll become rich.
So
it's getting a name out. It's there. I mean, there's a lot of competition, everything here, right? You have to do something different. And but like I said, someone said tool writing. I mean, if you create a tool, which anyone can even create as an open source. If a lot of people are using it, you'll become popular. Getting your name out is the important thing, and money will follow. You cannot do any of these things just for money because you're not going to make money. If you do it for passion, and if you're getting good at it, people will come after you. So yeah, pick your field. Like I said, I even struggle these days to which one to focus because I do a lot of different things. But it's hard to pinpoint any one area. Cloud security, IoT is it's booming. So that's two areas you may want to learn. Cloud security. Everyone is moving towards cloud, and cloud is not very secure. So learn about like Amazon associate. There's a lot of certificates for that too. Like I said, we are here for certified ethical hacker. I'm not here to spoil that, but certified ethical hacker is just an entry level, right? I mean, if you are very technical, OSCP, someone pointed out, is the best thing to do. But there's a lot of certifications for Amazon Cloud.
CP?
CEH, OSCP.
Right.
It's by the offensive security people. Yeah, cloud and IoT is something, if you're just beginning, if you're interested, go for it. But again, you still need to know how do you test cloud? I mean, it's same network pen testing. It's nothing different. It's a server in a cloud. That's it. It's not nothing different. But there are certain.
Hold on. It is different. So something that's different about the cloud and something you should keep in mind is that networking in the cloud is not like networking on a host.
Exactly.
server.
Uh-huh.
But simple things like art, right? Things like that don't exist in the cloud.
Exactly.
So saying that a cloud is just a server in another data center is not exactly right.
You're right, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is the same principles apply. I mean, art poisoning may not be an attack vector, but all I'm saying is they still have web applications. You still have to do web application testing. Once you're on the network, ports are going to be open. You're going to test for ports.
Correct.
How are protocols communicate within the cloud? That's another. I mean, everything you learn in network pen testing still applies to cloud. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's not the same. But all I'm saying is, once you learn network pen testing, you should pick up cloud with no time. In a couple of days, you should know the principles.
So how the cloud security is different than, I mean, what is
It's not different because of like what you said. It's the network